Let me take some weight off your shoulders. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need the full roadmap. You don't need to know the exact offer, the exact audience, or even the perfect positioning. You just need a starting point that actually feels true. But here's what happens. You get stuck in strategy mode. You zoom way out. You start asking questions like, what's my vision for the next decade? How does this scale? Will this get me to $10 million again? And suddenly, you're paralyzed. And it's not because you don't have ideas, but it's because you're trying to predict a future that you haven't even stepped into yet. And this is exactly what high performers do when they're scared. We plan instead of move. We build frameworks instead of momentum. We get stuck thinking that we need the whole thing figured out before we're even allowed to begin. But what if that's backwards? What if your next breakthrough doesn't come from a bigger plan, but from a smaller yes? One honest step, one piece of content that actually says what you believe, one offer that reflects who you are now, not who you were 3 years ago. One room where you speak clearly without trying to impress anyone. That's where real momentum comes from. Not scale, not certainty, truth. Here's what I've seen again and again. Founders who have already won. They've built the 7 or 8 figure business. They've proven that they can perform at the highest level. But they don't get stuck because they're confused. They get stuck because they're scared to start small again. They're scared it won't be as big. They're scared it won't match the highlight reel that they created. Scared it's going to be different this time and not in a way that people understand. But here's the shift that you've got to understand. This season, it's not about proving anything. It's not about replicating old wins. It's not about going back to something. It's about asking, what would I build if I trusted who I am now? Not the overextended version, not the high-speed one, not the one who needed to win to feel worthy. The you who's ready for peace and power together. That version doesn't need a master plan. That version just needs alignment. Start with what feels honest, not what converts best, not what makes the biggest splash, not what everyone else is doing now. Start with what you can't not say anymore. Start with what feels good to wake up and make. Start the version of your work that you'd still want to create, even if nobody was clapping. Because that's where the real brand comes from. That's where the leverage lives. That's where the deals get easier. The days feel lighter, and the mission makes sense again. It's not about abandoning strategy. It's about rerouting it into something real. Your voice, your pace, your actual self. This is your permission slip, guys. You don't need to architect the entire empire. You don't need to map out the next 3 years. You don't need to scale a single thing until you know that it feels aligned. You just need one move, one signal, one moment of truth. And from there, everything unfolds. Speaking of unfolding, why don't you just unfold that subscribe button, click on it, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.